Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Patricia Monna, Intuitive Consulting. I am recording this from beautiful London, England, in my girlfriend Carol's gorgeous house in Highgate, London. So welcome back, Susan Reynolds. Thank you so much for joining me all across the world. I appreciate it because it was difficult, getting the time difference and everything. So welcome back, Susan.
Thanks for having me. We found a way to make it work. We took the time change into account, and here we are. Different countries, different time zones, and making it work. So good on both of us.
Amen. Amen. So, I wanted to just talk before we get into the energy of August. I wanted to just kind of do a little bit of a recap on some of the predictions that, or some of the things that I've talked about in my previous videos, because it's interesting to see things come to pass. And now if you ask me which video it is, I'm gonna have to go back and watch them and figure out which ones it is. I really should write things down and keep a diary so I don't have to dig through it. But I remember mentioning that Canada would be burning again, and that we would be seeing absolutely crazy weather, and we're living it. Alberta is on fire again. We are experiencing, or they were, from what I heard, a huge heat wave, and there's heat waves all over the world, so it's interesting to see that temperature, on the rise and come to pass, because it's an energy. The weather is an energy, it's a field of energy. And that, that Mother Nature emits, that you can literally feel and tune into. And as the energy is rising on the planet, our weather patterns are going to change. So how did I know the weather patterns were going to change? Because I felt it. I could not just because you keep hearing climate change and all that crap. No, there is an ascension process happening right now that no matter how much our governments want to tax us, it's going to happen whether we like it or not, because there's a process. I think that is happening that is beyond science, but beyond our, logical understanding. And I think that throwing the word climate change at it is very easy, for them to say. So anyways, the temperature's on the rise. And as we feel that, I'm also noticing a cosmic rise of energy that is happening right now. So that can, from what I'm feeling, it can be both good and bad. It's going to meet you where you're at in your life, because when the energy gets potent, it can mess with you. Like Susan, my friend Catherine and my other girlfriend Carol and I, we went to Avebury, the Avebury Stone Circle in Wiltshire. And that's where all the UFO sightings have been, and crop circles. It's also 20 minutes away from StoneHenge. And the Avebury stone circles are actually even more potent than StoneHenge. StoneHenge, I went to both, and StoneHenge has a very peaceful energy that is more like this, I would say. Whereas Avebury, it's all over the place. It totally messed with our heads, where we felt like we were driving through a time glitch, even, where there was a point when we were driving to Avebury, we were almost there. So I know we were on the perimeter of where the vortex is, and where that field of energy extends out to. And I swear to God, it was like we went somewhere else. All of us we could have driven off the bloody road, because none of us were in our bodies. It literally felt like something knocked me sideways out of my body. And I was like that for 3 days. And it took me a good day and a half to kind of pull myself back into my humanness, because it was so jolting. I don't know how else to explain it, but it was so weird. It was jolting to the human spirit. It was literally like body, mind, and soul were not in alignment, and you're off somewhere else. And the craziest thing is, I can't wait to share this with you. We actually made contact with both spirits and a UFO, is something in the sky. So it's really easy to make contact out in there because it's just one big celestial highway, portal for interdimensional something, because you could feel it, Susan. And so what we did was, the three of us girls, we stayed in the gravedigger's cottage that was right next to St. James Church. This church was erected in 1098. Yeah, 1098. And it was a 17th century gravedigger's cottage that we stayed in. Haunted like you wouldn't believe. 2 out of the 3 nights, I woke up right before 3 a.m. We'll get a load of this. The bells on the church chime 24 hours a day on the hour. Oh yeah, even at 3 a.m. And 2 out of the 3 nights, I was woken up right before 3 a.m. with something standing over me. And how do I know? It was right before the witching hour, because the bells started going off. And I heard the 3 bells, and it was like, whoa, okay, not tonight, you're not. I'm going to bed. So we have an EMF detector. I was looking around the kitchen going, oh, I wish I had it in front of me to show you. Carol, any chance you could grab me the EMF detector? I want to show you what I mean.
So your other 2 friends also experiencing this?
Oh, they were with me.
All
We
3 of
all
you.
experienced it. We all experienced it. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this is an EMF K2 meter. And when you turn it on and you put it near devices or electrical stuff, it'll start going off, right? So what you can do is you can put this on a table and you turn it on, and it'll literally light up and go all the way to red if they're saying a yes, and it won't answer you if it's a no, right? You kind of set that line of communication. So we're sitting in the middle of the night, the 3 of us girls, brave Ghostbusters, sitting in the middle of the graveyard at St. James Church with this on the ground. Okay, so nothing electrical by it. And I have this laser that that you can shoot all it, like it's literally, you can see it in outer space. And Stephen Greer, you've heard of Stephen Greer, right? No. Stephen Greer. Oh, he's famous for UFO information disclosure, all of that stuff. Yeah, he's worked with the US government on disclosure. Anyways, and disclosure is coming out right now, which is interesting because I really believe we're going to start to see more and more stuff, whether it is human made, our government's trying to scare the pants off of us, or it's actually communication. I think we're going to see more of it. It was really easy for us to bring it in too.
Well, I don't know if you're aware, here in the United States, sorry to interrupt, but just last week, I think, they were having some sort of congressional hearings on UFOs. Yes. And they're like, yep, they're real. We've seen them. Here's the video. I was just shocked all these years, like, no, it's all weather balloons. And now, boom.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and here's the thing is what's coming out of this. So I'll go there in a second about what the government is disclosing is what are they preparing us for? What do they know what are they preparing us for, right? Because they slowly need to give out this information so we can acclimate to this and actually go, what? Because there's a lot of people that this is going to shatter their paradigm of no, that's woo-woo stuff. That's conspiracy theory stuff. Well, according to the government, which they so readily believe, right? They're saying it's real, right? So we're using this laser, and Stephen Greer, whenever he's trying to bring in aliens or have contact, he's got this pattern with this laser that goes 3, 6, 9, and you kind of beep it out into outer space. So we start beeping this 369 into outer space. Next thing we know, we start seeing this flash bulb, this flash of light going off, right? And I'm like, ooh, did everybody see that? All the ladies saw it. And so we flash it again. It flashes back at us. And then the K2 meter starts going off. So I'm like, okay, if you are the ones in the sky that is setting off the K2 meter, do it again. So they set off the K2 meter. Okay, now flash us again in the sky. Boom, flash goes off. And they did this quite a few times. It wasn't just once or twice, Susan. It was, I would say, about 4 or 5, 6 times that in that pattern. So here was the crazy thing. It starts beeping in the 3, 6, 9 pattern. Yes, the same pattern as I'm shooting in the sky. All of a sudden, this thing starts beeping with that same pattern.
You made contact with something.
Something, because this thing shouldn't have been going off in the first place, being on the ground. And when it's communicating like that, and then this starts going off in the same pattern that I'm doing,
There's intelligence there. There's
absolutely
deliberateness
100%.
there.
Yeah, 100%. So it was really easy in Avebury. So for anybody who wants to try using a K2 meter for communication, just turn it on and start asking questions. Is anybody there? Does anyone want to communicate with me? And then you can ask, it's like using a pendulum. Use it the same way you would use a pendulum. It gives you the visual validation that something is actually communicating with you and that you're not losing your mind, right?
Well, because I think we all say, well, was that me, or is that my imagination?
Yeah.
But when you see it visually outside of yourself, it's much easier to accept.
Yeah. 100%. So I think that there's going to be more sightings. But now here's the thing. When I say, why is the government disclosing this now? Everything is timing. It's all about timing with them. They're very strategic when they bring things out. So what do they know that is coming, right? What do they know that is coming that they are trying to acclimate us to the understanding that this is,
we're not alone.
Exactly. And I think it's all connected. I really, really, really do. I think that this energy shift that's coming in, and I can feel it. And I know when we get to discussing astrology, I know that you're going to tell me something big's coming. I can feel it, Susan. I can feel it. A couple of the things, and you tell me if the stars are telling me this, or if what I'm seeing is in alignment with the stars, because as you know, we haven't discussed anything. It's hard enough to set this up. We haven't discussed anything on our notes or anything beforehand. So what I wrote down was, okay, so the intense incoming cosmic energy in August it's got an awakening flavor behind it, but it's also got a somberness behind it, where it feels almost like anything residual. People have done so much work, so much spiritual and ascension work over these last few years, that it's almost like, okay, the last little bit of crumbs or the last little bit of dust, that's got to come up. It's still got to come up. It's still surfacing. And it feels to me like in August, that energy of just examining, reflection. Is there anything else that needs to shift? And if so, how? And how can I start with my thoughts in the shifting process, right? Because a thought is the seed of creation. If we want to manifest something, we have to think of what we want to manifest, right? So the greatest thing that we can do is reflect on what hasn't worked and what we do want to work and what we want to bring in. Lionsgate portal is the perfect time to do that, 100%. And it feels like that cosmic energy is absolutely building, but it's already building. It feels, I could feel it beginning to come in around July 25th. I want to say I started to feel July 25th, 26th, actually, is when I really started to feel the severity, or not severity, the potent, how potent that energy is. So here's the thing, we can work with it instead of it immobilizing us or leaving us confused. It's take this time to get grounded, get out in
Oh,
nature.
yeah,
It's beautiful outside,
absolutely.
right? Get out. That's where your answers are. It's going within, and it's going to be easier to turn off the noise because spirit's working with us even more so on an accelerated, easy to understand and feel and touch and communicate and connect with level. It just feels like the realms are opening onto us. And that's why I say this is all connected, right down to what does the US government know about realms opening up? Right? They turn CERN on again. What are they playing with? So I'm just saying, I think things are changing and we need to hold on to our hats, because the world that we know or that we knew, it's never going to be that way because it's evolving at such an accelerated rate. And like I said, even when I was in Avebury, time was so wonky. At times, it felt like the whole day passed so slow or weird, where an hour felt like 5 minutes and then an hour felt like 5 hours. It was the weirdest perception of time that I've ever experienced in my life. But I'm glad that I was there around the 25th, 26th, because what I noticed is that what I was seeing coming in for the months ahead and the years ahead, I was seeing it with greater clarity than I've ever seen it in my life. And so that's why I say, if it's easy for me, it's absolutely easy for everyone else. It's just, do you know what you're looking for, right? So that's why I love doing this astrology with you, because you get to be able to say, okay, yeah, this is coming in. Then you're going to see a switch here, or what, you know what I mean?
I still remember June when I was talking about a change in the planets on June 12th, like a specific day. And you were like, oh my God, I wrote that down. June 12th. Like, people don't believe that we don't talk about this ahead of time. When we come in and sit down, it's cold. We just, whatever comes up, comes up.
100%.
And boom, I love it when it comes together like that. That what you're picking up, seeing, feeling, experiencing is absolutely aligning up with what the planets are showing.
Nice. Because if for me, and here was the other thing that I wanted to say, empaths beware. Because of this heightened energy, everything is heightened on an empath to begin with. You're hypersensitive with your emotions, you're hypersensitive with your body. That's why so many empaths have chronic pain, right? We're sensitive all the flipping way around. Well, hold on to your hats, because empaths beware. It's going to be very easy to have empathic burnout over this next month, because your heart is going to want to explode for humanity, or explode for your family, or it just feels so heightened, and that's what I mean about potent, right? If you're sitting in that state of love, it's going to be like your whole chest is like, that love is just emanating out of you into your field, and you're glowing with it. And that's why, when teenagers are in love, or that young puppy love, they literally glow. You can see a glow around a person, because love is a vibration. That's what I'm talking about with the acceleration, or a potency. You're gonna feel it so much more. So if your job is to constantly support people and be that caretaker of other people's pain, like nurses, first responders, police officers, be careful that you don't get burned out. Get out in nature, take a week off if you can, and go somewhere, change your scenery. Don't just take a week at home. Change your scenery, because sometimes if we just have that home vacation, we're not getting out of the vibration of what has made us feel overwhelmed, right? We need to actually unplug from the vibration that is keeping us stuck. Go somewhere else, plug into that, and then come back a brand new person with batteries of another kind. You know what I mean? Sometimes we need to plug in to the vortex of another place. So get out in somewhere else besides where you are if you can, even if it's just driving to the mountains or to your local forest, just somewhere that is a change of scenery and a change of energy.
Well, I
So
agree 100%, because most of the people watching this are people who are interested in spiritual development, people who are empathic, people who are aware of higher consciousness,
yeah.
who are also going to be dealing with this. I've noticed over the years when I read for a client and I know that this planet is going to do this at this time, I tell my client, technically, this is going to happen in July. Energetically, you're going to start to feel it in June, maybe even May, because people who are empathic react to these energies much earlier than maybe mainstream world kind of thing. So, and that holds true for Lionsgate. It holds true for all these things that we are feeling. Technically, Lionsgate begins on July 28th. And of course, you are feeling it ahead of that. Technically, it goes from July 28th to August 12th, but it is considered to peak on August 8th, 8/8. And so in numerology, and I don't know if you ever work as a numerology, I have some friends who are numerologists, if that's a word, they work in
I think
numerology.
so.
And 8 is considered to be a power number. That is the number of wealth, abundance, power, control, force. It's considered to be a very positive and lucrative kind of a number. And if you turn it on its side, of course, you get that sideways 8, which is a symbol of infinity. During this period, it is when the sun is in the sign of Leo. And interestingly, I noticed this because you're just talking about people's hearts, the sign Leo rules the heart.
Ah.
So we may be hearing more people talk about their heartache, or more people may be talking about their high blood pressure, or the doctor wants me to try this new medication, or what is related to your heart, both physically as well as mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Your heart may ache, this kind of thing. So that's Leo energy. During
Wow.
the Lionsgate portal, it is when the sun in Leo lines up with the earth, Orion's belt, and the star Sirius, that bright, bright star in the sky. As these all come into alignment, and it does it at the same time every year, it opens what is called a portal of energy. Sounds like you and your friends are already in your own kind of portal of energy.
Oh my God. It was, and you could feel it, Susan. It was so strong. So you know what I did? You
But
know what I did? So I know that on this journey, I'm being led to do specific things in certain areas and work with the grids and the ley lines. So I took a bottle of my liquid light. So Spirit told me to make anointing oils. And what I do is I literally take just my favorite blend of essential oils, and I have a Lemurian quartz that I charge on with healing frequencies on my Rife machine. So I put that in the oil so that it holds the frequency for the oil. Then I put the whole oil on the Rife machine for like 3 days worth of healing frequencies. Then it sits under my pyramid. I pray over it, and then bada boom, bada bing, you've got anointing oil, liquid light. I call it liquid light. So I dropped liquid light on every single stone on the Avebury stone circle, and a little drop on the ground right in front of the rock. So every single rock in Avebury has had a drop of liquid light. My prayers, my liquid prayers, and my intentions. So hopefully, you never know, maybe that does something for the ley lines, for the grid, for humanity, because it felt very scattered there. Very, very, very scattered there. Stonehenge didn't feel as scattered. I got a private early morning tour.
how did you get that?
So Carol is a member of the English Heritage Society, and so she's VIP. And we even got like to go right up to the rocks and everything. You're not supposed to touch them
I know
because of
they
the
have the
legend
chains
that's on
around
it.
them.
But no, 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 no. Oh no, we went right up to the
That's
rocks.
what I mean. The regular tourists aren't supposed to do that.
Oh
They have
yeah,
chains
no.
around
Yes,
Stonehenge.
they
So
have
this is why
chains.
what you were doing was so special, because you got to go past that right into the vortex or whatever you call Stonehenge.
Well, I put my liquid light all over Stonehenge as well. I didn't put it on the rocks. There's lichen that they're trying to preserve, so I did not put it on the rocks, but I put it on the ground everywhere, all over those ley lines. Yes, I did. Um, so, it's just when I've been told something to do, I just do it. So it was, and that's the other thing for anybody who's watching this. It doesn't matter how silly something sounds to you. If something has been placed on your heart to do it, do it. Do it. Even when I get stuck in traffic, I will literally pray and put my hands like this and send light and pray for the people that are beside me that get stuck at the red light, because you never know what they're going through. And I don't believe in coincidence. They're beside me for a reason. So let me be of service and get going on my job. And so I do. I pray for the people who are beside me. Same thing with when I hear the sirens going off, right? So these little things make a difference. So if it's been placed on your heart to do something, just do it. Just do it, because you never know the difference that you're making in the ethers in the fifth dimension as much as in the third.
And one of the things I do, because I do the same thing, when I hear the sirens, when I see the accident, when I realize something has happened, that is somebody's life. That, somebody's having a bad day. Somebody may be truly hurt. And you don't have to get out of your car. You don't have to be there. There's other personnel take care of that, but you can send a prayer. You can ask the angels to be with them. You can lift up that energy. And it's something simple and easy that we can all do. One of the things that I do as well is when I see a dead animal on the road or even by the side of the road, I ask that the animal devas will come and lift up that animal spirit. And so
Oh,
it is another way of acknowledging that this was a living thing that is now not there. And you're just always, it all comes down to lifting up energy, lifting things up to a higher vibration. And we can all do that every day in our life, because who has not run into somebody who's angry at traffic or an annoyed cashier someplace, or we can just quietly say something, send light, ask some help for them. It is a way of lifting up the energy in the world.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's all connected. And that's one of the things that this trip is teaching me, how deeply it's all connected through time. Like even, and I know that other people, this is the other interesting thing. I've met so many people on my journey between Ireland and England that are on an ancestral healing journey as well. I basically did a pilgrimage when I look back at Ireland for my mom. She when she left Ireland, she stayed in Canada and never went back. And so it to be able to go there and honor her and to stand on my grandparents' graves and to find out, this was a surprise, my great grandmother is in the same grave as my grandfather and my grandmother. So it's like, oh, I don't know if I'd like to be in eternity with my in-laws as well as my grouchy spouse, because I heard my grandmother wasn't the most pleasant person in the world. But that poor man, I heard he was like a saint. He was a beautiful, beautiful man. But to be able to stand there, and the coolest thing was, so I was able to meet cousins, my first cousin, my second cousin, my third cousins. The family came out, and it was July 13th, so my mom's 17-year anniversary of the day she died. That's when we went to my grandparents' grave. So I was able to bring flowers from my grandparents' grave. And we stood there and we held hands, and I blessed the family bloodline. I released all curses, that were bound to put on to my family lineage, the DNA, all of that. And it was the most amazing energy that shot through all of us. We all felt it. It was pretty powerful. It was really powerful. This trip has been really, really powerful. Well, I guess my point after my rambling was there's a lot of people that are being called back to their roots right now. If that's you, honor it, honor it. And if it takes you out of your country where you're living right now and it takes you back to where your ancestors, are from, go, spend the money. Because God, at the end of the day, all we can take with us is our experiences. We can't take any of the money, any of our pension, none of that. It all stays behind. So instead of stuffing it in a bank or putting it under your bed, go out there and get living. Get living today, because it's been an amazing journey, and it's memories and relationships that that will be for life now. So
Now, how much longer will you be in England?
I'm here till Wednesday.
Oh, just a little bit of time left.
Yes. So I'm really, really cherishing every moment, and every day has been something else. So I've been to Highgate Cemetery today. I went to Buckingham Palace, which I have to say, no family should be allowed to own that much, and rule the world the way that family does.
A little overwhelming, isn't it?
Oh my God. Their ridiculous show of wealth, prestige, and entitlement. It's rather embarrassing. It was a little bit of secondhand embarrassment going, wow. Because we also went to Westminster Abbey, and the energy there, it's one big graveyard. And I heard that William and Kate, that's where they got married. They got married in a flipping indoor graveyard in a mausoleum. Like, that's all it is. There's dead bodies everywhere. There's nowhere to praise God in that place. And it does not feel like a place of faith whatsoever.
It's interesting because I was at Westminster Abbey several years ago. I went to France and England. And when I was in England, of course, we went to Westminster Abbey. And the energy I got from that was historical, like it was almost like a historical record of the nation. Mm-hmm. This one is buried here, this one is buried here. But like you, there was no wonder, there was no awe, there was no faith, there was no higher consciousness. But when I was in France and went to Notre Dame Cathedral, I started to cry because it felt so reverent. And the difference was just completely opposite. Wow. I'm not saying the energy in Westminster was bad or wrong. It just wasn't spiritual and uplifting in that way.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with historical records, but it did not touch my heart emotionally.
Yes.
Where Notre Dame did. And they, it was with some people and they were like, what's wrong? I was like, nothing. I was so overcome with all the love, the prayers, and the reverence that were held in there. It just started spewing out of me in tears. So you absolutely want to tune into the energy, and don't let anybody tell you you're supposed to feel this, you're supposed to feel that. Even us, if you feel reverent in Westminster, go for it.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Honor what you're feeling. And both of us, felt it was more historical and literal than spiritual or religious. And just because something is touted as a wonderful cathedral, spiritual summit, you have to feel that in your heart. You have to have an emotional reaction to that.
It's a vibration, 100%. Right. You know that Stephen Hawking is buried there?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I have a picture of his grave. I was a little shocked to see that. Okay. So yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I when I went there, Stephen Hawking was still alive. So obviously, no, I didn't see that, but I enjoyed visiting it. I was glad I went.
Yeah, me too. Don't get me wrong. Me too.
Into the energy of the history of England there.
Yes.
But that's what I mean. It was more historical about this nation's journey than it was reverent for me.
Yes, I totally agree with you. 100%. And the whole city is just amazing with how ancient it is and how well preserved the history is. It's like you're seeing buildings that are still standing and people are living them that were from the 1500s. And that church that was from 1098 and it's still a church today. So it's mind-blowing to go back in time like this and to just, because the energy feels amplified here. It really, really, really does. It was very easy for me to tune in, to even make communication, visible communication, not just telepathic, and psychic communication. Um, it literally felt like everything was just blasted wide open, even more so. So I can't wait to come home and do reading again. This should be
And start
fun.
to process all through it because
Yeah.
we're still in Lionsgate energy.
Yes.
So, and Lionsgate portal. So all this energy is amplified. It's amplified for everybody. But
Yes.
people who are sensitive, people who are empathic, are going to feel this more strongly than maybe the lower vibrational people. If we don't know what's going on, we could be very overwhelmed with all of this. We may be
Yes.
crying more. We may be more upset or nothing. Like, honey, what's wrong with me? Why am I crying all over? But it opens up this portal of energy. And if we are not doing some things to kind of center ourselves or ground ourselves or use this, it can overwhelm us. It's not a bad energy. I love Lionsgate energy. It is, imagine if you know anything about astrology, take the force and the drive of Mars, which is like your planet of forcefulness and action and doing something, and marry it with the planet Jupiter, which is bigger and more abundant and more. So this is why Lionsgate energy is always considered to be such a prosperous time. This is the time when you can manifest what you want. So think of in ancient times, during Lionsgate energies, the water levels in the Nile would rise up and they would overflow and they would flood the surrounding areas, leaving those areas more fertile to grow all during the year. So we may now in this day and age think of something flooding is not very good. We've got pictures of horrible floods in our mind, but that's not what this is about. This is about bringing in more abundance into your life on whatever level you want it. Do you want more love in your life? Do you want more peace in your life? Do you want more prosperity in your life? The best way to use this energy is to sit and stop and think, what is it I want to bring into my life? Do I want more forgiveness? Do I want a bigger house? Do I want a house to begin with? It can be tangible and small. It could be a better job. It could be good friends. It could be whatever you want it to be. But the more that you're focused on it, the more that you're aware of it, the easier that's going to manifest.
Yes.
So keep that in mind. I don't do a lot of ceremony work, but on August 8th, I always do a ceremony. Because as you know, when we do ceremony, we are enhancing those energies. We are amplifying them. We are lifting them up to a higher level. And we want to do this for our dreams, our hopes, our goals. This energy is here as a gift to help empower us. You are living out a dream I know you've had for a long time. So you are actually living exactly what Lionsgate energy is supposed to do for us. What are your biggest dreams? What are your highest goals? Here, the portal is open. Go for it. Talk to your boss about a raise. Put yourself out there to meet somebody. Do those things that you need to do. Take those actions and do them from the heart in a loving way. So one of the things that I don't see talked about a lot with Lionsgate energy that I use a lot is forgiveness, because that's the heart. Who do you need to forgive in your life? Because this is the time to do it. This is the time to offer forgiveness. Maybe you have no intention of forgiving that rotten so-and-so that did you wrong. And you may be right. They did you wrong and you may be right. But here's where we have an opportunity to free ourselves.
Okay, Susan, it's really trippy that you said that, because I have written down here, and this was a message that I heard Spirit say that someone is going to watch this video and it is going to speak specifically to them. So here it goes. I wrote down, when a person shows you who they are, believe them the first time and walk away if it is not in alignment with who you are and what you represent. So there are people that are going to be showing their true colors. And you know what? That's the other thing about the potency of this energy, is that truth is going to come out. because they don't have time to filter their truth anymore. It will seem like erratic behavior. Um, uh, yeah, I don't know how else to describe it, but truth is coming to the surface in a way where it's someone's going to put their own foot in their mouth, or people that have been not truthful in their relationships, they're doing their own oops, and it's going to be coming out. So let them just sit back and observe people's behavior and allow them to show you who they really truly are. And then when they do, flip and believe them. Quit giving people chances that don't deserve it.
We think sometimes that as spiritual beings, oh, I need to ignore this. So I need to give them another chance. Oh, I need to forgive them. I am big on forgiveness because we deserve peace. And when we forgive somebody, forgiveness is not about saying what was wrong is suddenly right. It is about freeing yourself from the pain of that betrayal or the pain of that wound. Forgiveness frees the forgiver. This should be emblazoned on my t-shirt I wear every day. That's why forgiveness is so important. That's like, well, why do they get forgiveness? They did this wrong thing. No, you are the one who is free once that forgiveness is happening. Mm-hmm. With this Lionsgate energy, all of your emotions are more heightened, everything. Yeah. Pain feels deeper, love feels higher. So it is a beautiful time to reach for something that you may otherwise have trouble doing. As you just said, we may see things we've ignored. Lots of times I have regular clients that will be coming to me on a regular basis for readings. And many times the same issue will come up. And they'll say, oh, you told me that last time. And I'm like, well, have you changed this? No. Well, that's why it's coming up again.
Yeah.
It keeps coming up until we change it, until we change that pattern. This is a powerful time for us to change any patterns that are holding us back. When we forgive, that is not just something we do for ourselves, but there's something called Guru's Grace that I was taught by my spiritual teacher, that when you forgive, you are healing your lineage, a generation behind you and a generation ahead of you. That forgiveness is not just for you. It extends into your lineage, just exactly what you were doing, because that is so healing. How many of us who are born empathic with our senses wide open have taken on and carried the wounds of our parents or the wounds of our family? Sometimes because we didn't know any better, sometimes because we felt like that was our job. No, this is where you can release of what is holding you back. And sometimes that's our own lack of confidence in ourselves. As we were just talking, I was telling Patricia, I'm getting ready to start working on a podcast, and I'll let everybody know when it's ready to go. But I was telling her confidence in me and telling me I could do it really helped me move into this. So sometimes we are our own worst enemy. Yeah. We're the one holding ourselves back. And this energy comes in and we go, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to just try it, see what happens. So it's very open. It's very liberating. Something else that I want to make sure I am cognizant of our time. So you just let me know when, Susan, you need to shut up now. In August,
no. I want you to get into the meat and potatoes of what's coming down for August, because it feels soft, gentle, and then potent. What else did I pick up? Hold on. And then, because I know we got to watch time, but empathic burnout, stay mindful and present, and learn to enjoy wherever you're at. I can't stress that enough because it's all connected. And when you're mindful, when you're in the moment, you don't miss the messages from spirit. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to say. Was I've noticed a heightened sense of magic in the air. And when you are staying as present as you can, you're not missing the abundance, right? I was teaching my girlfriend, Carol, about abundance. This is how we manifest. This is how we bring in that energy. And lo and behold, and she wasn't expecting it, we get 2 free tickets to the Highgate Cemetery because she's part of English Heritage. And she didn't know. And it's like that, this is abundance, right? Like we put it out there and it comes in so many forms. It may even be that hug when we need it. It's just, it comes when we need it. And I just know that if you're on the lookout and you can see how God is providing, the universe is providing, that highest source is literally speaking to us and leading us and showing us where we need to be. I'm telling you right now, it's magic time. It's amazing. So get into the flow, people. It's now time. That's what I want to say. Okay, now.
Okay. I was just saying, with my clients, one of the things I tell them all the time when we're talking about abundance and manifesting is to be a gracious receiver.
Yes.
Most people in the spiritual community are gracious givers. They're wonderful at giving. They have these loving hearts. They give everything away, but they are terrible at graciously receiving. They are terrible at
That's the truth.
And for the universe, it's all the same. So if a friend is trying to take you out to lunch and it's like, oh, lunch is on me. Let me pick up this burger for you or whatever it is. You don't think, oh, no, you don't have to do that. I can pay for my own lunch. You're not saying no to the $20 lunch. You're saying no to everything. Because the universe, it's all the same, whether it's a $20 burger or $20 million in the lottery. It's all the same. It's, are you open to receiving? Being a gracious receiver is every bit as important as being a gracious giver. Sometimes more so, because we're so used to giving, we have accidentally blocked the other lane in the receiving.
Yes.
And when we're doing nothing but giving, we feel tired, we feel depleted, we sometimes feel resentful. So when you can tell somebody, oh, thank you, this is so nice of you. What a great lunch, or what a great gift. Thank you, I love it. You're opening that door to everything.
Yes.
It's all the same. And this is a heightened time. So whatever you're doing, think of it like a whirlwind. The energy just keeps going up and up and up. So you can use it. Okay, I want to make sure one of the other big things that is happening in August that I get to mention is that we have not one, but 2 full moons in August.
We have a super moon.
So
a blue moon, not a super moon. Blue moon.
And it says super moon is a
super moon's the big one.
But I can see it. Yeah. We have one full moon on August 1st, and that's right around the corner. That's next week. That is going to be in the sign of Aquarius. And then all the way at the tail end of August, we have a second full moon on August 30th in the sign of Pisces. And this is rare to have 2 full moons in 1 month. And that's why it's called a blue moon, like once in a blue moon. Once we have 2 moons in the same month. So we have a full moon on the 1st, a new moon on the 16th, and another full moon on the 30th.
Wow.
Now, so a lot of lunar activity happening in August.
Yeah.
We call it a full moon when the sun and the moon are opposite each other. In astrology, the sun is our outer self, what the world sees, how we interact with the world, what we are doing, our profession, our persona, if you will. The moon is our inner self. It is our inner child. It is what people don't see. It is about what hurts us, what makes us happy, what makes us feel secure. How do we feel about things? So we may have an outer persona. Let's say our sun is in Leo. That's a pretty strong outer persona. We may be comfortable in the spotlight. We may even have a big presence kind of thing. But let's say your moon is in Cancer. Cancer's all quiet and sensitive. You hurt my feelings. So the outer you and the inner you are sort of fighting under a full moon. That's why we see certain things happen, like births happen more, emergency room visits happen, hospitals man up, extra stuff is going to be going on. Because when we have the outer self and the inner self in conflict, and we're not addressing that within, it shows up without coming towards us from somebody else.
Yes.
But I love full moons. Don't think full moons are bad. Just because there's that conflict, think of a full moon. It is, you look up there and it's just gorgeous. It's that light shining. It's full, meaning it's reached completion. It's reached fulfillment. There's no more room. It's full. So it's time to let go of things. So I love that this full moon, especially on August 1st, is happening under the Lionsgate portal. So it is a time for us, especially in the 3 days leading up to the full moon, which really is what starts tomorrow, and in the 2 or 3 days after the full moon, it is a time for us to look at what no longer serves us. What do we want to let go of? Let's do it. Let's let go of this. Maybe that's an old boyfriend or girlfriend.
I
Maybe
have
that's an old
that.
dream.
I
Oh,
have that written down too. Empaths beware of burnout. There's a somber energy coming through that is meant to bring unhealed wounds to the surface to be reflected and healed. So it's the
once
energy then
again,
of the month. It's the energy of the month. If we're both picking it up, it's so here's the cool thing about these predictions is that when you know what's coming up, you can go, "Hey, I'm not losing my mind. This is what's happening." And just know that you're not alone because there will be lots of other people that are going through the same thing, just different flavor.
in the full moon in Aquarius on August 1st, which is what I think that's Tuesday, people who are born under a fixed sign, those fixed signs are Leo and Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio. They're going to tend to feel this moon a little bit more intensely. But when you feel it a little bit more intensely and you take control of it, you feel that a little bit more powerfully. You can
Yes.
use that well. You know, the signs that would probably be have a little smoother ride with this full moon would be the air signs, and that would be Gemini and Libra and Aquarius. And so, but the moon is a lunar energy. It affects everybody. So when you're in a full moon, even if you're centered and empowered and using it perfectly, you may be out there going, "Oh my God, what is wrong with the world? Why is everybody so crazy?" Because they might not all be using it the way you are. You know?
Yeah.
So tempers can come to the surface a little bit sooner. People can be a little bit more stubborn. Fixed means fixed in place, stubborn. They don't want to move. So around this full moon, it's not a good time necessarily to make spontaneous changes.
Mm-hmm.
Because those fixed times, they need time to acclimate to it. Oh, we're going to do something different. I'm not sure I like that. Oh, maybe. Okay, I can do this. But you've got to give them that lead time. So if you're a more impulsive sign, like, you know, Gemini, they have no problem adapting and changing. They're like, "Oh, let's do this." And the other side, like, no, you can't change the plan. We're supposed to do this. You have to be patient with them.
Yeah.
And this is why I always like telling the parents about their child's chart, because parents think their kids are supposed to be like them and they never are, you know? So the
Mm-hmm.
parent of a Gemini child, let's say you're a Taurus and your child is a Gemini, Taurus is very set. They're very stubborn. They are fixed in their ways. They pick one thing and then they do it. And they've got this Gemini child and they're like, "Oh my God, why won't this kid just stick with something?" But Gemini is like the butterfly. They're supposed to go from bloom to bloom to bloom and try lots of things. So we don't always understand. We think they're just being difficult. You know, we don't understand. That's who they are. So these are powerful energies coming up. New moon on the 16th. That's going to happen in Leo. So we get a new moon when instead of the sun and moon being opposite each other, the sun and moon are right next to each other. So on the 16th of August, we have the sun that is in Leo and the moon is going to be in Leo. And we're getting a double dose of Leo energy on the 16th.
Wow. This
So
is going to be a very strong month for
very
energy.
strong month. So wherever that Leo energy is in your chart, that's going to be heightened. It's going to be heightened throughout all of August, but especially on these dates that we're talking about, that 3 days before the 16th and a few days after, that's going to heighten this. So for those of you who don't know where the sign Leo is going to show up in your chart, you can email me and I'll be happy to tell you. So as I remind people, it's not about getting a free reading. I can't do that, but I can tell you that your Leo energy is over the 5th house, and that's children or creativity, or it's over your work house or whatever. Give you a little heads up kind of thing. So I'm happy to do that. You can also look on my website, which is exploreastrology.com. And I am just finishing writing the predictions for August for every sign. So you can start to see, where is this going to impact me? Everybody is going to be dealing with Leo energy. And the high side of Leo energy is their big heart. They have such a loving spirit. They're exciting. They're fun. They always want to be doing something. They could be a little dramatic. The shadow side of Leo is more of the diva-esque kind of behavior. I want to do this, think
Yeah.
of recording stars or movie stars that we would think of having a diva-like personality, maybe Beyonce or J-Lo, or, they have big
Yeah.
personalities. They have that Leo-esque kind of drive to them. So if somebody starts to say, well, who do you think you are? That's kind of a heads up. Oh, I may be getting a little big on Leo energies here. Let me bring it back down a little bit. But most of the time, Leo is very sunny. They're very positive. They're very joyful. Leo likes to have a good time. So August is a time for parties, or it's a time for trips. Get in the car, go somewhere. Go to England, go to Ireland, get out of town, just like what you were saying. It's a time to do things you've always wanted to do. A friend and I were talking about at some point going to New York to visit Lilydale, which is supposed to be that community. Have you ever heard of Lilydale?
I think I have.
It's a community in upstate New York where the whole community is centered around mediums and that connection between this side and the other side. And it's a very intentional spiritual and metaphysical community.
Okay, I think I have heard of it, but I didn't know, I don't know much about it, but that sounds amazing. That's bucket list material right there.
That's bucket list material. So this could be bucket list, but this could be spontaneous. Let's go to the mountains for the weekend. Let's do this, let's do that. Leo loves to play. And many of us are way too serious. We're so busy being responsible adults. We put play to the end, and somehow we never get there. But all this Leo energy gives us an opportunity to say, you know what? I'm going to play hooky today. I'm going to have fun today. I'm going to get a massage. I'm going to get a reading. I'm going to go get a pedicure, manicure. I'm going to go shopping. Lots of times, and I don't mean this in a negative way, we spend more money under Leo energies.
That makes sense.
Put it on the card,
That totally makes sense.
If what you're buying is, I don't know, some extra fancy makeup or an extra nice dinner, chances are you won't do too much damage. Try not to buy a Rolls Royce or plane, put that on your credit card.
That's the other thing I wanted to say. Oh my God, England loves their cars. And I'm a car girl, and I have seen models of vehicles that are mind-blowing out here. The amount of Bentleys and Mercedes and Porsches and Range Rovers, like models I've never seen in Canada before. And it's just, I'm drooling. So I gotta appreciate a place that really loves a nice vehicle. I guess don't splurge too much.
You're the only person. We each know our own finances and our own spending limits. Make this decision within yourself. But even people who are like very budget conscious and absolutely want to make sure every dollar is accounted for, you might find yourself splurging a little bit. Well, I deserve it. You may be picking up the check for the table. Lunch is on me, dinner's on me. Everybody have a good time. Let's get some wine for the table. Yeah, Diamond Jim kind of energy.
I'm doing tonight. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's play the time. Now, we'll be in Leo energies until the 24th of August. So if it's one time, it's okay. If it's small things, that's fine. You can do quite a bit of damage if you're flinging around money until the 24th of August. So keep it in perspective with what you want to do. What brings a smile to your face. We are allowed and encouraged to enjoy our life, not just to be responsible adults, but to be joyful adults as well. This is the time to do that.
Amen. Amen. Well, with that being said, I should probably get my beautiful evening on the go. Carol's waiting for me. But thank you, Susan, so much for validating what I was seeing and experiencing as well. And for giving the viewers, a heads up. Like this is how we can deal with it. This is how we can move through with grace and ease and faith, knowing that everything is happening for a reason, a higher purpose, and we just need to sit back, grab our popcorn, and enjoy the show.
Enjoy the ride.
Exactly.
I
So,
love
Susan, one more
it.
time, how do we get a hold of you? What is your website?
My website is www.exploreastrology.com. And on my website, I put out free predictions every month for every sign. Every morning on both Explore Astrology with Susan Reynolds and just Susan Reynolds, I put out a post every day about where the moon is, what's going on astrologically, how to use those energies. And I have something on my Facebook right now about Lionsgate as well. So you can contact me through any of those. I'll do my best to answer questions. I want everybody to be enjoying this energy and getting the most out of it. Like Patricia, you are. You are, because you're getting the most out of this.
Thank you. And I must say, Susan did a karmic astrology reading for me last month and blew my mind. So yeah, if you want your mind blown and know what's coming up, Susan is absolutely worth it. She's a phenomenal astrologer. And I thank you for doing that for me. Like I said, I don't get readings done. So it was really cool to see what you tapped into. So thank you for that, Susan. And everybody else, thank you so much for watching. I just wanted to say I do also have a newsletter that goes out once a month on the 11th of each month. If you want to sign up for my monthly newsletter so that you can keep up to date on my retreats, because I am going to be announcing my next Sedona retreat on my website very soon, as soon as I get back from my little retreat. So you can sign up on my website at www.patriciamonna.com. Thanks again, Susan, my dear. Always a pleasure. Can't wait for next month. And God bless. Stay well and enjoy your month ahead.
Have a great dinner. Enjoy yourself and this wonderful trip you've been on. And we'll talk next month.
Thanks, Sunny.
Bye.
Take care. Bye, everybody.